Today I want to show you how I sharpen my materials for my charcoal and chalk drawings and graphite work. So here I've got an image of my supplies for my charcoal and chalk projects. Just a quick preview from the lower left. I've got my graphite pencils, my craft knife for sharpening, stick erasers, kneaded erasers. Then I've got fine charcoal, hard, medium, and soft. My charcoal pencils, also hard medium, this time extra soft. My white chalk pencils, above that my compressed charcoal white chalk sticks. A siding stick, stumps, tortillons. Then I've got all my brushes, a wide variety that I use, bristle and synthetic. Above that my charcoal powder, then my sandpaper across the top and sanding block. And here is another example and what I'll be working on for the video. So here I have my graphite pencils using H2H HB hardness. And with my craft knife with a fresh blade, I'm just whittling off the wood around the barrel, around the graphite barrel. I'm using a very low angle on my knife, starting a little further back and just getting a long taper on the wood part, trying not to nick my lead and turning the barrel as I'm working. Now I'm going to use my sandpaper, my sanding block, with about a 220 grit paper on there. I'm holding the pencil at a very low angle, almost flat across the sanding block. And I'm just turning the pencil with my hand, with my fingers, as I'm going back and forth or up and down to get a needle sharp point. Here I'm doing the same thing with my charcoal pencils, which are a little more fragile. The lead doesn't hold up quite as well. They're very easy to break. Just whittling away the wood, starting lower, working my way up. Again, being careful not to nick the charcoal. I don't want to weaken it in any way. And here I am again holding the pencil at a low angle to the sandpaper and rotating the pencil as I sharpen, looking for that needle sharp end. And with the charcoal, I'm not going to go quite as long as I do with the graphite because they're more fragile. Now I'm sharpening my fine charcoal. I don't have to whittle anything away, but to sharpen these, probably the most fragile of the materials I sharpen, I'm going to lay them flat and work down the taper to get that needle sharp point. Having that sharpness while I'm working on very refined, subtle value shifts in my drawings is very helpful. I couldn't do what I do without having the needle sharp point on these that I get. I'm being very, very careful, applying hardly any pressure to the stick as I sharpen. Same process with my white chalk pencils. And these are general brand. Sometimes I use Pitt Pastel brand or Cretacolor brand. And I do use a separate sheet with the white from the black. Looking for a needle sharp point. Not a Washington Monument shape, but a very fine tip, very delicate point. And there's everything sharpened and ready to go. Thank you for joining me.